If you've asked me maybe like 4 or 5 years ago and asked me, would you like see yourself becoming a vegan, I would have said, are you crazy? Like, I love these products. Like, I don't see a reason why anyone would choose to like exclude them from their diet. I decided to go plant-based and became a vegan. Hello guys, my name is Stephanie from Lifestyle by Stephanie, and my channel is all about fitness, health, nutrition and self-development, and today's video will kind of be about everything combined, since I'm talking a lot about vegan food and nutrition on this channel. I'd like to go deeper into plant-based eating, and especially how I became a vegan. For those of you who don't know, they're like two different things for some people they aren't, but eating plant-based or whole food plant-based is not necessarily a diet, but it's like a form of eating, and being a vegan is an ethical lifestyle choice, and I'm gonna go into both of them. So I hope you are as excited as I am about this. I hope I don't step onto anyone's toes, but I seriously feel like I should share this with you guys, since I wish that some of the information I had earlier in my life, and maybe that would have changed some decision making I did in my past. So now, without further ado, let's get right into the video. Okay, let's just talk a little bit about my background, because if you've asked me maybe like 4 or 5 years ago and asked me, would you like see yourself becoming a vegan or eating only plant foods and not eating any animal like meat or any like dairy or eggs, I would have said, are you crazy? Like, I love these products. Like, I don't see a reason why anyone would choose to like exclude them from their diet. I did say that as like a good thing for people to be like vegetarian or something, but vegan was always like, that is so extreme, you know. And I actually never was a vegetarian before I became a vegan. It was more like a overnight choice for me, and there are a lot of things that like were part of this process that I'm gonna go into right now. So my background is a fitness one, I think, if I can say that about myself. Since I always was really keen on exercising and I always looked at what I ate. I did develop an eating disorder at some point, but before that I was always like really like concentrated on like doing the right thing, like what society tells you that is considered to be healthy, which was at the time the trend of eating low carb, eating a lot of protein, not necessarily a lot of fat, but like concentrating on low carb and high protein, and that's what I did. So there was a lot of chicken breasts, there was a lot of turkey, there was a lot of eggs, and even like egg white. Like, I used to, you guys, I used to buy only like the egg whites in like a package and like put them into my meal to add extra protein. Yeah, I'm speechless at that right now as well. Anyways, I watched Game Changers, and that is what changed my game.
I made the switch to a plant-based diet. I qualified for my 3rd Olympic team. I broke 2 American records. I was like, man, I should have done this a long while ago.
When I went plant-based, I wasn't sure if I was going to survive, and I actually became like a machine.
It is a documentary on Netflix that suggests that eating a whole food plant-based diet actually helps you perform better and recover faster if you're an athlete, and it actually is health promoting, since eating meat and a lot of dairy products are linked to many diseases that we see in our westernized society. So I watched it, got super inspired, and one night after the other I changed it. I didn't told anyone because I don't want to get like the label of being a vegan, you know. So I in my head, since I didn't have like any ethical reasons to be a vegan, I was like, I'm gonna like eat whole food plant-based for myself, but if I go out with friends or if I'm somewhere and get offered like, I don't know, a steak or something, I would just eat that, but I would mainly eat my like vegan food at home. And that's what I did for I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 months. But obviously if you're interested in new lifestyle, you follow like pages on, like at least I do, like I follow pages on the internet, I read up about nutrition science, and I stumbled across some vegan activists, and the more I excluded those products, the more I could see that it is actually ethically not quite right to eat them. And I'm gonna explain to you why, because I don't want to tell you eat meat and that is wrong, because I myself ate it for 20 years and I want to like speak from my experience and what I know now that I wish I knew earlier. So let's get right into it. One thing you should know, since I read a lot about nutritional science, and as I told you in an earlier video before about the blue zones, those are like the regions in the world, those are the people who live the longest, the healthiest. They eat a mainly whole food plant-based diet, meaning 95% usually is whole food plant-based and 5% are animal products, usually a bit of fish and a bit of meat, not so much dairy, because most people, if you don't know, are lactose intolerant, so it's not really nice on our digestive system. But anyways, although this is true, and in the beginning I claimed to be a vegan for health reasons, I don't eat 95% whole foods. I eat 100% like plant foods, mainly whole foods, but no animal products whatsoever. And the reason are ethical reasons. And before you stop watching this video now because you're not a vegan and you don't want to hear too much about it because it might make you feel uncomfortable, I just like to ask you this, like, if there's something in this world that is happening that is really cruel and you participate in it, would you want to know about it, or be like, I don't see anything, I don't hear anything, I don't want to know? Like, you can still watch this video and know what I have to tell you and still decide to eat meat. It is in your hands. I cannot force anyone, you guys. I just want to share what changed my mind and see if it can have an influence on you maybe as well. But you do you, so let me get straight into my point. But before I start sharing, I'd like to give the world to Gary Jusef, because he can make an intro like no one else can.
I am not trying to take you away from your religion. No religion mandates meat eating. The golden rule states, do unto others as you would have done unto yourself. Animals qualify as others. And thou shalt not kill. The 4 most important yet most ignored words in all religious teachings. There's not an asterisk next to that commandment saying, unless you walk on all 4s, have fur, feathers, horns, beaks, or gills. You can keep your friends, your politics, and your patriotism, still watch your favorite TV shows and listen to your favorite music, even if it's Ted Nugent.
Okay, let's talk about the dairy industry first. And this is something that I actually never really thought about it, or I never really considered to be a thing, since it is so normal to drink milk. I had it in my coffee, on my cereals, and my smoothies, it was just all over the place basically. And did you know that a cow has to be pregnant and get a child in order to produce milk? Yes or no? I mean, it seems logical, since every mammal on this planet needs to give birth to a child in order to produce milk. It's just the way nature works. But we really stopped being in alignment with nature, I'd say, since we need more milk than cows need babies. So we impregnate them, and it's not just like, yeah, there's a cow and there's a bull, they just make love. No. They're being forcibly impregnated, and after 9 months, because they carry the baby in their womb for 9 months like humans do, when the cow gives birth, we take the baby away from them, because the baby would start drinking milk around 10 liters per day, and the milk isn't for the calf, the milk is for us. So we separate them. And if it's a girl, if the baby calf is a girl, it will be kept in separate barns where they're being fed, so they grow up and become dairy cows as well. And if they're a bull, they're not really useful for the dairy industry. So they're either being like shot right away.
Male cows are of no use to the dairy industry. So every year in the UK, around 90,000 male dairy cows are shot and discarded soon after birth, simply because they are not deemed profitable enough by the farmers.
So no mom and baby connection for cows. And if you think, I can show you some pictures and some videos here.
Mother cows form close relationships with their children, with natural herds being both matriarchal and familial. Consequently, the separation of the calf from their mother causes them both huge amounts of suffering and distress.
If you think that they don't notice, then like think again, or just like consider what happens in nature. I mean, I'm a runner, I go running a lot in the forest, and something that people always warn me are like wild pigs when they have babies, not because they're aggressive, but if I come too close, moms are really protective. And if you look into nature, like all animals are like this. Obviously, it's a natural instinct, and if we like separate them from each other, don't you think they're gonna miss the other person? Like the baby will miss the connection, like the mom knows that she just gave birth. I mean, do you want to say that they don't feel that? Or what is the argument here? So I don't know. I'm not a mom, but I see it like that. You just give birth, there's your baby, and instead of like feeding your baby, when your body starts to produce milk for the baby, someone else takes it away and puts you onto a machine, like to take your milk. And I'm like, for what? Like for a glass of milk? For like a coffee that tastes like cow milk? Certainly not for health, since a lot of people are lactose intolerant, and milk has no like huge nutritional value for us anyway. So it's just like pointless. We just do it for habit and for flavor, and both of these things are like trained onto us. Because I don't know, I don't think any one of you, me including, would be like, oh, I see a cow and she just got like a child, like in nature, you know, and you would go like underneath the cow and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna drink your milk. Like, just imagine that. Like, nobody would do it, because it doesn't, it's not, none of our instincts are like, oh, I need to drink some milk. And think about it, why cow's milk? Cows are not similar to us. Why don't we drink like gorilla's milk, or, you know, anything that is more similar to our physiology? And it just makes no real sense. And it's just cruel, because apart from the fact that milk is full of hormones, and there is no such thing as milk without hormones, because it comes from a pregnant cow, and you're like, oh, she just gave birth. Yeah, but in order to keep the milk production running, she's being impregnated every year. And if she's pregnant for 9 months out of 12 months, you can guess if your milk that you drink has some like pregnancy hormones in it or not. And if you're a man, then do you think some more estrogen is good for you or not?
Meta-analysis looking at studies with hundreds of thousands of participants and published in the Journal of Bone and Mineral Research found no overall association between milk intake and decreased risk of hip fractures in women, even at high intakes. And Harvard researchers discovered that drinking milk could even increase the risk of hip fractures in men. Another review of 47 studies, including over 1 million participants, showed that men who ate the most dairy products were up to 65% more likely to develop prostate cancer, whilst those on a plant-based diet were 36% less likely to develop it. And a study following 53,000 North American women over 8 years showed that those who were drinking 2 to 3 cups of cow's milk a day, which is what the current USDA guidelines recommends, increase their risk of breast cancer by as much as 70 to 80%, whilst replacing dairy milk with soy milk was associated with a 32% reduced risk of breast cancer.
And that was just the dairy industry. I know this video is quite long already, and I don't want to talk too much about it, since I feel like there are more people out there who can show you and explain to you how this whole system works, and I'm just like one of the like followers who's really compassionate about it right now. So I'm gonna link some of the resources I found really helpful in my journey down below, and I also highly recommend checking out these documentaries. Some are for health, some are for just opening your eyes about the animal agriculture, because it is not as beautiful as you think it is, and it's more cruel than you can imagine. And knowing what I know now and having seen what I've seen, I don't think there's any way back for me. And I'm not trying to force this lifestyle onto you. I know it might seem like it, and of course I would love everyone to be vegan, but from a realistic standpoint, it's better to have 1,000 not perfect vegans than 100 perfect vegans. So I just share this out of my own like compassion, because it helped me so much, and I feel like this lifestyle can help so many other people along from the health benefits, and to actually see that you can even align your ethics with what you do, because every dollar you spend, or every pound, or every euro you pay to these industries, you're actually like supporting them. And even though you're against animal cruelty, if you pay money for other people to do cool acts to animals, and don't kid yourself, the animal agriculture is not it's not a rainbow farm for animals. It certainly isn't at the point when they're being killed. So just be aware of like what you do or what you pay your money for, and if whether you want to support the system or not. There's no, like, again, no health benefits from it. It's just like a habit we have, a way of eating that we've been taught, and we can change our habits. And I truly believe that we're really compassionate human beings, and we don't want to see anyone suffer. And if you come closer to this lifestyle, you'll actually feel better yourself. I'm truly convinced of that. So I know it was a hard topic. I hope you feel inspired maybe to go on this journey, to find out more resources and to learn more about it. Remember, you can still decide for yourself. I think if you know all the facts, if you have seen what you need to see, and you still like, oh, I like meat, I want to eat meat, then you do you. Nobody can like stop you from eating meat. But I feel like to make a good judgment of a situation, you always have to know both sides. Now you've been on the omnivore side, maybe you need to switch to a vegan side for some time and see whether or not it is something for you, and whether or not you align with the values. So that was enough of me. Please give this video a thumbs up if you learned something new or got inspired, or just want to leave me a feedback in the comments. It's always welcome. And don't forget to subscribe if you're interested in any of those topics. I post 3 times a week, and I'd love to see you again. Until next time, I hope you have a nice day whenever you see this and wherever you are, and take care. Bye bye.
7 hours driving on the highway, far away, far away, far away. Every moment I was spending on regrets was such a waste, such a waste.